Alright everyone, I'm finally, this is NoobyRC, and I'm finally getting around to doing this last review. This is the final, actually the review I started for the Turnigy 9X radio, and I know I wasn't very polite with it. I lost the airplane during the last review. The plane went dead stick, and I lost it in a field of grass, couldn't find it. And of course it had the receiver that came with this radio. And of course this is the Turnigy 9X radio, and without the receiver I couldn't complete the review. And of course, this is much of an issue with HobbyKing because they've been perpetually out of stock. I sit there and look on the computer every day, and they've been pretty much perpetually out of stock on this radio since August. And here it is, like December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. However, I found another way, and here's some good news. Here's the website. I'm flashing it on the screen now. Go to this website and look for the Ergel. The Ergel radio is just like this Turnigy. I discovered this with this radio here. And so the same thing goes with the Turnigy. The Ergel receiver works with this radio. And I've already had this plane up and flying once. I had it out yesterday. I actually hit the stop sign finally. It's in the other videos. And this is a much tougher build. I was able to hit the stop sign and do very little damage. It probably crushed the nose end maybe about an inch. And I hit that stop sign dead on. So anyway, I want to plug this in real quick. And this is the best that I can do for the radio. Alright. Gonna stop to that. This receiver works with this Turnigy 9X radio. And as you can see, this is the Ergel receiver right here, binding with this radio. And if you've got the version 2 radio, I want to be careful with this. It binds the same way. Just put the bind plug in there, push the button in. The little light here in the back will come on. You can't see it with the camera, but there's a little light inside this that comes on. It's a little harder to see than the other receiver. So anyway, let's go see this airplane fly. But, oh, does it fly? Whoa! Ooh. That was a money shot. Oops. Damn. Well, that's it for this test. Okay, let's take a look here. I lost the piece there. Can't find it. So I'm going to go back out there and see if I can. Or go over the crash video and see where it might have went. This is what I'm talking about. And this is a thing over, of course, review of the radio, and this was not due to radio error. This is just me being stupid. But instead of the foam board crushing and crumbling and smashing all the nose in like the other planes have done, the pieces just broke off. Well, alright, onward with doing the test of the radio. I know it seems like it's instant on this video, but actually this is the next day, or actually my 4th day into this review, weather-wise and stuff. Anyway, I bet you're wondering why I have the radio taken apart and disassembled. Well, I don't know. I got all the way out to the field. I got in my truck, drove out there. I had tested everything here on the bench before I went out there. Made sure all the connections were good, that the plane was in great shape, the batteries were fully charged and plugged in, the radio was working. I did a little bit of looking up at what ppm and PCM is, and I'll explain that later. I get out to the field, and the radio won't work. It won't turn on. Well, I think in the last review, I went over how I was kind of pissed off about the radio shutting off. And it has to do with the batteries on how they plug into this. Now this is what comes with the radio. And notice the little white plug here. It's what comes with the radio. What happens, these are so squeezed in so tight that they will actually break the connection on the ends or in the middle. So you have to push up on them and make sure that the spring all the way to the other end is well connected and squeezed together. I'm thinking about throwing some electrical tape on there. So when I'm out in the field, I thought, okay, all it is the same thing's happened again. Something got moved around, so I took the battery pack out, made sure all the connections were fine. And there was nothing wrong with the connections at all. I whipped out the old handy-dandy voltmeter. There was electricity going to the radio. I thought the batteries may have been dead. Maybe I had left the switch on in the box, in my case here, and I ran the batteries dead. Nope, not the case. So I get home, I take it apart, I take the voltmeter to all the power switches inside. I even disassemble the power switch. I'm getting electricity to everything. Still won't come on. Alright, I get a phone call. I answer the phone. I come back. I switch the batteries over to this plug. Retest it again. It won't come on. I go to the bathroom. I come back. I plug it in. You can see. Now, this here actually works in here, and it goes this way. See, and oh, look at here! It came on. So I don't have a clue why it quit working and why now it works. Alright, let's try not to crash the plane today, huh? Well, I have to admit, the radio does feel hardwired. Yeah, mixed up with that wind, it sure does. The radio has a built-in timer, and I set it for 5 minutes. Of course, I won't make you sit through the whole 5 minutes on the review. Well, they're watching Back to the Future and wrapping up this review of the radio. I think it's really important to really get into more about what the radio can do, what it can't do. I found this instruction manual for the IMAX 9. You can find the PDF here at this website. Here's the general view of what it is. It's a little bit better than the last one that I seen. The explanation's a little more in depth. It even has a little disclaimer paragraph that tells you to not get discouraged while reading it, just to continue on reading. You'll figure it out as you go along. That's kind of helpful. Anyway, back to the radio. Some of the functions that's listed on here is you got flapperons, you got elevons, you got ele differential, you got air brakes. This is a 3-channel airplane. I'm not able to really go through all of them, but I made a pretty darn good attempt. One good thing about this airplane is I do have a servo on each wing. So I am able to do a couple things. One thing that I was able to set, of course, was the air brakes. Now this is very complicated setting. You got to master setting the air aileron differential, where I usually run this plane with a Y-wire. You actually have to have each servo connected to a different channel. The instruction manual says channel 1 and 2. Well, that's not the case. Channel 2 is elevator. So the other channel is actually channel 7. So this has been kind of an aggravating half an hour. However, when you flip the switch on the radio, looky there, I actually have flaps. And that should help slow the airplane down, give it a little extra lift on the landing. I can't wait to give these flaps a try while flying. All in all, you know, aside from the problems with it cutting out on me inadvertently, it does have a lot of extra settings. It's disappointing, though, that the settings do not work with this receiver. You got to buy another receiver, and that receiver is only 3 channels at best. Some of the other settings are complicated. The instruction manual does not clearly explain how to do the settings correctly. But as far as what you would expect from the radio, it is kind of amazing that all these settings are here. Of course, getting to them, pain in the butt. Buttons do not necessarily respond very well. We got throttle hold, we got sub trim. Of course, I've gone over the failsafe more than once, even in another video. Failsafe is a joke. You need another servo or another receiver for it to work. The timer, I did like the timer. I set it for 5 minutes. It beeped. It gave me plenty of time to get the plane landed before the battery went down. The thing I don't like is, in order for the timer to work, you got to turn the switch on. Other radios, the timer only works when you've got the throttle up. So, if you forget to flip the switch, you may be up for a minute or two. On my flight today, the plane was up for a minute before I actually hit the switch. Still, good battery. Not the end of the world today. What else have we got here? We got flapper on trim. I'm not even going to go into it. The air brake, which is what I've got set here. It has VTAL settings. Everybody likes to make the VTAL planes. I messed around with it tonight with the dual ailerons. If they were elevators, it would work. So that's set up pretty good. Some of these others, I don't know. Some people may be really into them, but I don't see using this radio on a really expensive plane that's really going to need these. Also, it's got a lot of settings for helicopters. Here again, I would not use this radio on a helicopter. No way. This radio is definitely too many intermittent shutoffs to be flying around a helicopter, because helicopters are a lot more dangerous than airplanes. Because you fly them in a closer proximity to where you're standing. I've seen videos where people have gotten their legs cut up, something awful from the blades. But needless to say, the settings are here for, setting up the helicopter. The one good thing I noticed is the auxiliary channel settings are there. You can activate them, and all of the channels work on the receiver. So bottom line, pros of the radio, a lot of bells and whistles. And they do work. Complicated to figure out, some of them. Instruction manual, vague at best, but not that complicated of a radio. Biggest con, intermittent shutoffs. Sometimes it's a battery issue. Earlier today, I don't know what happened. Buy the radio if you can find it. One of the biggest complaints I had throughout this entire review, that's taken me 4 months to do, has really got to do primarily with HobbyKing. They've been perpetually out of stock. Maybe people are buying them and they just can't keep them in stock. I don't know. But I'll tell you, next summer, I'm getting a Spectrum. And I'll be happy with it. Enjoy your radio if you can find it. I showed you the other website. This website's got them in stock. Maybe the people that remanufactured it under the Ergle name have fixed some of these problems. I don't know. So, good radio for foam board planes. Have some fun with it. Good break-in radio. Do not use it on a good airplane, and I wouldn't use it on a helicopter if I was paid to. Alright, thank you for watching, and have a good day.